Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020, the City of Homestead City Council meeting. It is 3:29 p.m. Due to COVID-19, this will be a virtual council meeting. The meeting can be viewed live on the City Access channel or city website at www.cityofhomestead.com. The city will be accepting public comments as part of the meeting, which comments can be emailed to publiccomments@cityofhomestead.com. Public comments on agenda items can be submitted by noon on Tuesday, May 26, 2020. General public comments may be submitted until 30 minutes after this meeting has adjourned and will be included in the minutes. All comments should be limited to 300 words per comment. Please provide your name and address for the record with your comments. Madam Clerk, are all council members present?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Madam Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals? No, thank you. Next item, agenda item 4, tabs 1 through 10, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion for approval? Moved by Councilman Shelley, and I'll second that motion. Do we have any questions or comments from council on the consent agenda? All right. There are no further questions. Then would any member of council wish to be reflected as a no vote as to the motion for approval on the consent agenda? None appearing, this matter is unanimously approved. Item 5, resolutions. Ms. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an update to the CRA plan. This is a follow-up item after the CRA meeting. The Homestead Community Redevelopment Agency has approximately 4 years remaining until it sunsets in 2023. Pursuant to state law, a CRA may be extended beyond its expiration date by providing an assessment of need demonstrating that slum and blight conditions still exist and that the extension of the CRA is needed. At the February 11, 2020 CRA board meeting, the board authorized Business Flair LLC to complete a needs assessment of the CRA in order to determine if slum and blight still exist in the area, necessitating an extension of its life, and to update the adopted CRA plan based on the results of that assessment. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the adopted CRA plan in substantially the form attached and to submit an application for a CRA extension of life to Miami-Dade County.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Are there any questions or comments from council on this matter, which is a request to extend the life of the Community Redevelopment Agency for a period of 30 years? That commences 2021 through 2051. So I'll only be 90. Okay. Any questions or comments from council? Do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
Move it.
Have a motion by Councilman Roth. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Bailey. Are there any further comments from council? None appearing. Would any member of council wish to be reflected as a no vote on this matter? None appearing. This item is unanimously approved. Next, item 6, tab 12 for discussion. The car number 2905, CDBG not-for-profit public facilities grant applications. Is that you, Madam Manager?
Mr. Mayor, before we get started, Councilwoman Avila indicated she may have a conflict in this. I believe she might want to recuse herself from this matter.
Run that by me again. You were muffled.
I spoke with Councilwoman Avila earlier. She indicated she may have a conflict and she may not be participating in this matter. I don't know if she...
On the upcoming discussion?
Correct. I won't be speaking on
Yes.
this item.
Okay, on the grants, okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, so Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is seeking direction regarding the proposed grant awards for the upcoming Community Development Block Grant Fiscal Year 2020-2021 Action Plan. Council recommended grant awards will be made part of the action plan and brought back to Council for final approval at the June 2020 Council meeting. As part of the application process, a notice of funding availability was published on March 23, 2020, and email notifications were sent out to all agencies listed in the city's nonprofit database. There were 5 applications, and consistent with past practices, staff is using a 2-step process for the approval of the CDBG Fiscal Year 2020-2021 Action Plan. Step 1 consists of presenting the proposed nonprofit public facilities grant awards to Council for discussion and direction. Step 2 will consist of presenting the updated Fiscal Year 2020-2021 Action Plan to Council for final approval at the June 2020 Council meeting. This year's request for grant funds totaled $356,512, but only $111,000 was planned for awards this year. And initially, as indicated in this item, this car item, staff was going to recommend that the top 2 applicants Start Off Smart and New Hope be awarded, but there are additional CDBG funds that are set aside for city projects that are sufficient to fund the PAL Gym project. So we would like to recommend that the 3rd application be moved up and that the grants be awarded to New Hope and to the 3rd ranked application, which scored nearly as high as the top 2. And we would be able to do the SOS PAL project with different funds. The action plan must be submitted to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development no later than August 15th, 2020. And at this time, Mayor, staff is seeking direction from Council.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. I want to thank the manager and staff for their lengthy discussion with myself yesterday, or the last few days, I guess, on these agenda items, and finding a way to spread the wealth and cover more applications, as well as do some much needed renovation to city facilities with these proceeds. So I want to thank you for your efforts and responses to my concerns. So do we have a motion for approval on the Public Facilities Grant Application, tab 12?
I'll move approval, Mr. Mayor.
All right. We have, it's been moved by Councilman Fletcher. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bailey. Seconded by Councilwoman Bailey. Are there any further questions or comments from council? None appearing. Would any member of council wish to be reflected as a no vote on this matter? None appearing. This matter is unanimously approved. Well, thank you. All right. Any further business, Madam Manager? Anything further from the city attorney?
I'd like to request an executive session, if and when we're able to have one in the future, in the matter of Early v. City of Homestead. It's case number 20-10093 in the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Appeals. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Roth? Councilman Roth?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm here. Just one thing, I just want to, again, give my thanks and gratitude to the city staff, the manager, the police department, public works, solid waste, park and rec, everyone who's out there doing that unseen job that we aren't really seeing, but it's getting done, and it's been done in such a manner that I haven't received too many calls for service interruption, which I think everyone at the city, employees and staff, need to be commended for their tireless effort and their work during the COVID situation that we have. The other thing I have is just a thought, bringing back a thought that I had mentioned at a previous meeting, where it comes to the excess space we have at the Cyberary location. I'd like to kind of get an update on the progress of the Cyberary. I think it was scheduled for completion sometime October, November, but also the possibility and maybe staff reaching out to, some of us received a letter from the Homestead Center for the Arts, and I'd mentioned using the vacant space that we have at the Cyberary as a temporary home for them to highlight artists in the city of Homestead and display their works and art. So maybe staff can give us an update on the progress of the Cyberarium and work on possibly putting some kind of a plan together, if it's a possibility, with cost and expense for Homestead Center for the Arts to possibly use that facility in the interim until we have a permanent plan for it for the time being. With that, Mayor, I'll rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. I think that's something we're all interested in for our credible long-term organizations to be able to avail themselves of some of the excess space. And since you don't have the luxury of being here, our manager is nodding her head in agreement.
And I'm happy to provide an update where we are with regard to the Cyberarium. The building's dried in, the shell and the roof are essentially done. We are working on the tenant build-out of the first and second floor. It's ongoing, and that's where the Cyberarium will actually be housed. And as you pointed out, Councilman, we're not sure yet about the third and fourth floor, and we did receive correspondence with regard to maybe using that third floor as an arts center. And I think one piece of information that was out there that I think we put out erroneously previously is that there was HVAC already there, and there isn't on the third floor. So any kind of tenant build-out would necessitate, obviously, money for whatever we do end up doing there. But we are actively seeking grants. In fact, on the consent agenda, there were 2 grants, each for $500,000, which we hope will get awarded. And we were looking at maybe creating some flex space there, which could be very appropriate for the suggested use. So it's definitely something we could consider, and we can keep you posted with our progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, speaking of art, this past weekend would have been our 3rd annual Art in the Park from Art Walk Homestead. So I am very sorry that we were not all gathered together at Blakey Park for what would have been an amazing time, but we are still sticking with our mission of providing necessary resources for our area and cultivating a love for the arts. So we have a few live art things coming up, so please look out for that, and I hope everybody is well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Fletcher?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to echo Councilman Ross' praise of the city employees out there performing this work on a daily basis, on the front lines, out there supporting the ongoing activities of the city. Thank them for their support, and keep them in your thoughts and prayers that they continue to work safely. And that's all I have at this time. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Avila.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to just hope everybody had a blessed Memorial Day weekend, and that it did stay dry enough to have a couple of our city nonprofits go out and recognize some of the memorials at the cemetery. So that was nice to see the community still be able to go out and represent in those ways. And I want to thank the staff and our city manager for the hard work they're doing behind the scenes and getting these projects and these programs together. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to seeing us continue to provide ways for us to surge out of this. And I know we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Vice Mayor Fairclough Staggers.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to commend the CRA and staff for the work that you've put into establishing these funding streams for businesses and residents in the community in a time such as this where finances are strained. I think this is great that the city is providing this option for our residents and our business owners. So thank you so much for that. I'd also like to wish the graduating class of 2020 all the best in all of my sentiments, and I thank the city for the role that you've played in acknowledging and commemorating this milestone for them with the banners in the community as well as the social media posts. I think it's very heartwarming for our seniors to see that the city supports them and acknowledge their this very important milestone amidst this unprecedented pandemic. So thank you so much for supporting our graduating seniors for the class of 2020. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I just want to add, since I hope with every fiber in my being that this is the last meeting that we all won't be together in the same room, we're all looking forward to meeting the new member of your family prior to the next meeting. I was going to have you hold her up on camera today, but we'll wait another 3 weeks.
Good.
Thank you. Okay. I have the first item under my business is the Military and Veterans Sailing Club request. We do have, I think he's still on the phone, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, is he still on the line with us?
Mr. Mayor, I'm here.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll get with you in just a moment. I want to give council some background in that there's a pretty significant sized group of members of the military at the base that putting together a sailing club where they do joint use of a vessel and needed a place to keep it out at Homestead Bayfront Park. With some of city's advice and assistance, they've been able to obtain $4,800 contribution from the $2,400 contribution from the county, $1,200 from the military affairs group that operates under the South Day Chamber, and my request is to allocate $1,200 from a portion of what was budgeted for the military appreciation events that we've traditionally had to allow them to rent a boat slip at Homestead Bayfront Park for a period of 1 year while they allows them to get themselves up and running and find other sources of funding or be in a position to self-fund for next year, the next lease year. We have Mr. Tripp Johnson on the phone. He's a reservist out at the base who brought this to my attention. And I would ask him just to provide council with a few more details of what they're all about and what they do and how this came into being. So, Mr. Johnston?
Yes, sir. I am Tripp Johnson. I'm an active duty Air Force member assigned to Special Operations Command South. And several of folks on the base went down to Key Largo and went through a introductory sailing course provided by Veterans Sailing Association, and all got our taste for sailing, and we want to share that with the rest of the base. So we created this organization to educate military members and veterans on the sport of sailing to build resilience and improve mental health. So in February, we were able to purchase a 1981 Hunter 22-foot sailboat, and we've been restoring that. And the last impediment for our long-term feasibility is getting this boat on the water and in a boat slip. So we'd be grateful if you guys can contribute some money towards our effort and get us going. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about the group.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from council for Mr. Johnson? Mr. Shelley, do you have any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just sit tight and we'll hear from council. So do we have any questions or comments from council in general? Mr. Shelley?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is one where I'm kind of torn, since I've sat up here for the last 10 plus years or so. This has always been one of the things that I've struggled with when we have good organizations that come up. They're good causes, they're all doing good things, but trying to choose amongst all those different organizations when they make these types of requests. And so, I know that historically I have always kind of taken the position that I'm not, if it's just kind of a wide open, somebody requests monies and then find ourselves trying to allocate those dollars without a budget, without a plan. I have concerns about the fairness aspect of things, where this is a great organization with a great cause, and then it's followed up by the next person that says, well, wait a minute, the city of Homestead's handing out money for good causes. Then they show up and they say, well, we also have a good cause and we also want money. And next thing you know, it's this endless pot of dollars that are trying to flow out of here, and people are requesting and wanting to know, well, why was that organization better than my organization, when they're all asking for similar funding requests and all good causes and all good purposes. And so I've always kind of taken the position that I just don't think that that's the best use of our dollars, and as far as allocating things outside of the budget process, to make sure that things do get vetted, that there is a kind of an end cap where we maybe set aside a certain amount of dollars, however we decide to deal with it going forward, but at least there's some sort of a funding source to, fairly allocate amongst the not-for-profits. So in that respect, I won't be supporting this particular request, but not because it's not a good cause, not because it's not a good organization or a good mission, as much as it is just making sure that I can treat all organizations that make these requests in the future kind of in the same process and fairly. It's what I've always done since I've been up here, and I'm just kind of following my course. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Any other comments or questions from council? Okay. And Mr. Shelley, I completely understand and respect where you're coming from, and I've been faced with these issues in the past. And for me, the distinction here is that we have a long-standing commitment to helping and promoting a quality of life for members of the military who serve at Homestead Air Reserve Base. And I kind of philosophically can make the distinction here with your concerns that this is not an additional allocation, but a military-related expenditure, philosophically from a budgeted item that did not come to be because of the pandemic. But fully, I respect and understand that blanket position, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Not at all. Not at all. That's an endless headache of dealing with those types of requests. Would anyone care to move this item for approval?
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes, Ms. Avila.
Thank you. So as much as I am in agreement with having to have a process and having to be cautious with what precedents we are setting for future, I do think that we can, have staff look into segregating budgets for these types of philanthropic efforts, so that we do have a specific pot that we aren't just allocating because we weren't able to do it in 1 year, and so that we can look at these opportunities on an ongoing basis, not just once in a blue moon when there's a challenge with not being able to fund a certain project. So I think under the current circumstances, I am in favor of supporting this cause earmarked as a military-related request, because we were not able to fund our program for the Memorial Day events and things of those natures. But I want to strongly encourage that we move forward with coming up with a plan for the future on these types of items if we want to continue to support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Avila. Any further comments from council?
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, sure. Councilman Roth.
Thank you. I'm always torn with these decisions. This is money that would be going to basically a club that's kind of private, that is not open really to the general public, although it serves a very important need, and I am one who fully supports our military, I too have a hard time beginning to set a precedent where we open a bucket of money to people who would just arbitrarily come and start requesting stuff from us. You know, we've handled this in different ways in the past, where members of council would pony up money out of their own PR department type funds, where it wasn't a city allocation and didn't come out of anybody's budget except for those who wanted to contribute to this or any other ask that came from the public. Does this club have a name? I may direct that question to Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir. It is the Homestead Sailing Club.
And is it a 501c3?
Yes, sir.
And you have a letter of determination from the IRS?
We do not meet the gross receipts test, and so we do not have an IRS determination letter. We have we have generally less than $5,000 in gross receipts annually.
So you don't have a letter of determination from the IRS, so you're not categorized as a 501c3.
Now that if we're able to get this donation money, we will file the paperwork to be categorized as a 501c3. But the IRS publication 529 states that for those organizations that meet the requirements laid out in International Revenue Code, but yet they have gross receipts less than $500, they're not required to file the form to get the IRS designation letter.
Well, I'm not up to speed on all the IRS laws, but having a 501c3 is a little more telling to me. And it does say in your letter that you are a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
We are, sir. We just do not have a designation letter from the IRS.
Okay. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Any other council members wish to weigh in on this matter?
Yes, please, Mayor.
Thank you.
I just would like to say that I can definitely see both sides, and although this is not a typical way that we would allocate these funds, I think that if our main goal with a military or Veteran Day memorial event, it's a very small price to pay to at least show a little bit of support to these men and women that do so much for us. So I can see us supporting this as a one-time, you know, we're not in, these aren't regular times. So I can see how great the ocean is and sailing. So I think that this would be a great program and I would support it.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did any of the other members of council or the vice mayor wish to weigh in on this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Generally, in instances like this, we all pull together and use our funds from our PR accounts to support this. I'm comfortable either way, either a one-time allocation from our budget, or we all pull together from our respective PR accounts.
You know, I would agree, and certainly if this does not go forward, I would commit to half of the amount requested from my PR account, and anyone else wish to make that allocation, that would certainly be welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yeah, I would agree that I think this should come from our PR accounts as well. That's a good idea, Vice Mayor, and I'd be willing to support that endeavor.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Yeah, I think as well the appropriate channel would be from our PR accounts. I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to contribute as well. And if we go 4 ways on it, it's only $400 each. And for the future, for other applicants of similar nature, I really would like to see that they've exhausted all the channels for the other donating nonprofits in our area. So not to name any specific ones, but I would like to see that they attempted and at least applied for and were either rejected or received funds from, as many as we have here in town. So I think coming from my PR account is where I'm more comfortable. Thank you.
Thank you all. I think then the proper channel to do this would be to each of us work through, I guess, the manager's office to request an allocation from each of our PR accounts as we see fit. And the total amount that is required or being proposed here would be $1,200. So, Mr. Johnson, just so you understand, this is not, it appears it's going to be funded, but it will be from some, perhaps all of the discretionary funds that each member of council has available to them, rather than as a reallocation of a portion of the Military Appreciation Day budget. So I'll coordinate that with the manager, and I will be back in touch with you, and we'll move forward in that regard. So thank you, Mr. Johnson, and thank you, members of council, on that item. Okay.
Very grateful, sir, council.
Pardon?
We're very grateful. We really appreciate the donation.
Thank you. We'll be back in touch. All right, would be the designation of Susan Sorrentino as the chair of the Public Art Committee. And a other related designation would be the designation of Bradley Compton as the vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Board. Mr. Pearl, do we need motions on those?
I'm sorry, you need a motion on the Planning and Zoning Board Vice Chair. There's no need for the appointment of the chair of the Public Art Committee.
All right, I didn't catch the first part of that. Are you saying we do need a separate motion on each?
You only need one motion for the P and Z. The other one is basically an announcement.
Okay.
A motion is not required.
Gotcha. Okay, so this will be construed as my announcement that I'm designating Susan Sorrentino as chair of the Public Art Committee, and would ask for a motion of approval for the designation of Bradley Compton to serve as the vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Board. Do we have a motion for approval of Mr. Compton?
I will move it.
Thank you.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of the appointment of Mr. Compton to serve as vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Board. Would any member of council like to be reflected as a no vote on this matter? All right, then the appointment is deemed to be approved unanimously. Is there anything further from staff or council? No. All right, do we have a motion for adjournment? Everybody wants to stay? Nobody wants to move? I think Mr. Shelley just moved adjournment, and I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. This meeting's adjourned.
Take care.